Grigori Perelman is a name whispered with a mixture of awe and profound confusion within scientific circles and beyond. He stands as the mathematician who achieved what many thought impossible. He conquered the Poincaré conjecture, a problem that had stumped the most brilliant minds for an entire century. Yet Perelman was not like his peers who might revel in such a monumental triumph. He did not appear to crave the inevitable applause that follows such a discovery. He operated more like a ghost in the intricate machine of global mathematics, a truly brilliant intellect who seemed to prefer the quiet of the shadows. His groundbreaking work was a sudden thunderclap in a silent room. His subsequent, almost complete silence became an enduring enigma for the world to ponder. Born in the Soviet Union in 1966, Grigori Perelman displayed early, unmistakable signs of a profound and unusual talent for mathematics. He excelled with distinction in prestigious mathematical Olympiads, events designed to identify the brightest young minds. His intellect appeared to be uniquely wired for the complex world of numbers, shapes, and abstract logical structures. He pursued his advanced studies and research with a quiet, unwavering intensity that set him apart. Those individuals who had the opportunity to know him during those formative years recall a singular, almost obsessive focus on the problems themselves. The glittering allure of future prizes, esteemed professorships, or public recognition seemed distant, perhaps even entirely irrelevant to his dedicated pursuit. He was embarked on a personal quest for pure understanding, a journey into the heart of mathematical truth. The rarefied world of advanced theoretical mathematics is an arena demanding immense, sustained dedication and an extraordinary level of intellectual rigor. Genuine breakthroughs, those moments that shift paradigms, are exceptionally rare occurrences, hard-won victories at the very frontiers of human knowledge. When Perelman finally unveiled his proof for the Poincaré conjecture, it was undeniably a monumental event, celebrated globally. It stood as a powerful testament to the remarkable capabilities of human ingenuity and persistent inquiry. Yet, the principal architect of this historic triumph consciously chose a dramatically different path for himself. He deliberately retreated from the very academic and scientific community that was eager and prepared to celebrate him as a hero. He turned his back on the accolades, leaving many colleagues and observers to wonder about the deep reasons behind his unconventional choice. This, then, is the unfolding story of that reclusive genius. It is an account of a man whose mind managed to touch the very fabric of the universe, comprehending its deepest structures, and then almost as quickly as he appeared on the world stage, he vanished from public view, choosing a life of near-total obscurity. He became a legend, not solely for his towering intellect and his singular achievement, but equally for his stark rejection of what most people spend their entire lives diligently chasing: fame and fortune. Why did this extraordinary individual choose such profound solitude? Why did he consciously turn his back on the glittering prizes and the global recognition that was rightfully his? His unique life continues to pose fundamental questions about the very nature of genius itself and what constitutes the true, ultimate meaning of reward in human existence. So what exactly was this Poincaré conjecture, this problem that commanded so much attention and effort? It was a fundamental question about the nature of space, first formally posed by the brilliant French mathematician Henri Poincaré way back in 1904. Imagine, if you will, any conceivable three-dimensional shape that contains no holes running through it, much like a simple sphere or a slightly misshapen potato. Poincaré proposed that if such a compact, simply connected three-dimensional manifold, a type of space, had the property that any loop on its surface could be shrunk down to a single point, then that shape must, topologically speaking, be equivalent to a three-dimensional sphere. It might sound relatively simple when described this way. However, proving this assertion for all possible three-dimensional spaces proved to be an incredibly complex and elusive challenge, a deep dive into the field of topology. For very nearly 100 years, generations of the world's most gifted mathematicians attempted to definitively crack this stubborn conjecture. They employed increasingly powerful analytical tools. They developed entirely new branches of mathematics and innovative theories in their relentless pursuit of a solution. Yet, despite all these concerted efforts, the conjecture steadfastly remained unsolved. It was akin to a securely locked door within the vast, complex mansion of mathematics. Many different keys representing various approaches were meticulously tried over the decades, but none of them would successfully turn the lock. The primary difficulty lay in the profoundly abstract nature of the problem itself. It required not just calculation, but a revolutionary new way of perceiving and conceptualizing shapes and spaces, particularly in higher, less intuitive dimensions. Many in the field began to suspect it might never be solved. The Clay Mathematics Institute, based in Cambridge, Massachusetts, fully recognized the profound importance of this unsolved problem. In the year 2000, they officially designated it as one of 7 Millennium Prize problems. Successfully solving any one of these formidable problems would earn the dedicated mathematician a prize of $1 million. This initiative was not merely about the substantial monetary reward. It was a carefully considered statement, designed to acknowledge and celebrate the highest, most challenging peaks of human intellectual thought and achievement. The Poincare conjecture in particular was considered central to enhancing our fundamental understanding of the universe's geometry and topology. Its eventual solution was anticipated to send significant reverberations through many diverse fields of science, including physics and cosmology. Then, between 2002 and 2003, something truly unexpected and quite unconventional occurred within the mathematical community. Grigori Perelman, working in relative isolation in Russia, posted a sequence of 3 detailed papers online. He did not choose to submit them to a prestigious, peer-reviewed academic journal, as is the customary practice for such significant work. He did not announce his groundbreaking findings with any accompanying fanfare or press releases. He simply made his complex proofs available to everyone on the internet preprint server arxiv.org. It was a quiet, almost understated revolution in the way major discoveries could be shared. The global mathematical world was initially stunned, then cautiously intrigued. Experts painstakingly began the long and arduous process of verifying his dense, highly original and brilliant arguments. The enigmatic ghost of mathematics had apparently delivered an undisputed masterpiece. The meticulous verification process for Perelman's proof took several challenging years to complete. Multiple independent teams of highly respected mathematicians around the globe pored over every detail of his complex work. His methods were notably novel and displayed profound insight into the underlying geometry. They skillfully built upon the foundational Ricci flow program developed by Richard S. Hamilton, but Perelman introduced critical new techniques that took the approach to an entirely new and successful level. Finally, after exhaustive scrutiny, the international consensus was overwhelmingly clear. Grigori Perelman had indeed done it. He had successfully and rigorously solved the Poincare conjecture. The Clay Mathematics Institute then began to prepare to formally award him the long-anticipated $1 million prize. It was a moment the mathematical world had been eagerly awaiting for many decades, the resolution of a century-old quest. The world then waited with bated breath for Grigori Perelman to step forward into the international spotlight. They anticipated that he would accept the numerous accolades and honors that were rightfully his. However, Perelman remained conspicuously silent. He did not attend the international conferences and symposia that were organized to celebrate his remarkable work. He consistently declined all requests for interviews from major media outlets. The substantial prize money, a globally recognized symbol of his monumental intellectual achievement, seemed to hold absolutely no discernible interest or attraction for him. Persistent reports from various sources suggested that he was living a very modest, almost ascetic life with his elderly mother in a small apartment in St. Petersburg, Russia. His profound and unwavering silence was, for many, almost as baffling and intriguing as his evident genius was clear and undeniable. In the spring of 2010, the Clay Mathematics Institute officially announced that the Millennium Prize for the solution of the Poincare conjecture was awarded to Grigori Perelman. He subsequently, and quite formally, declined to accept it. This was not the first major honor he had refused. He had also previously turned down the prestigious Fields Medal in 2006, an award often described as the Nobel Prize of Mathematics. His stated reasons for these refusals were complex and never fully elaborated in public. He reportedly expressed a deep sense of disillusionment with what he perceived as the questionable ethics and lack of integrity within certain segments of the professional mathematical community. He also felt his contribution should not be seen as entirely separate from Hamilton's foundational work. "I'm not interested in money or fame," he was quoted as saying. "I don't want to be on display like an animal in a zoo." His decision to refuse such a significant sum of money and such prestigious recognition sent palpable shockwaves far beyond the confines of academia. In a global culture that is often overwhelmingly driven by personal ambition, material gain, and the pursuit of public reward, his actions were, for many people, almost incomprehensible. Why would anyone willingly turn down $1 million? Why would an individual actively shun the kind of profound recognition that often represents a lifetime's work and dedication for most professionals? His deliberate choice challenged deeply entrenched societal beliefs about what constitutes success and achievement. It compelled people everywhere to pause and consider whether there might be other, less tangible values, other powerful motivations, that could drive a human being to such extraordinary intellectual heights and then, just as astonishingly, to such extraordinary acts of renunciation. Following his refusal of the Millennium Prize, Grigori Perelman retreated even further into his intensely private and quiet life. He was occasionally photographed by journalists, appearing as an ordinary, unassuming man, not at all like a global intellectual giant who had reshaped a field of science. He reportedly continued to live very simply, with some unconfirmed accounts suggesting he was living in conditions bordering on poverty, though he consistently maintained that his choices were entirely his own, and that he was not struggling. He had successfully solved one of the universe's most profound mathematical riddles. Now, he seemed to be entirely focused on solving the personal riddle of maintaining a peaceful, undisturbed existence, far removed from the inevitable clamor and demands of the modern world. He consciously chose the quiet of obscurity over the glaring global stage that eagerly awaited him. Why do some exceptionally brilliant minds like Perelman choose this solitary and unconventional path? Perhaps for them, fame and public adulation feel more like a restrictive cage than a welcome reward. Perhaps the incessant demands and distractions of a public life actively interfere with the deep, unbroken concentration that is absolutely essential for profound intellectual thought and creative discovery. For certain individuals, external validation provided by awards or public praise may feel ultimately hollow or meaningless when compared to the intense internal satisfaction derived from the act of discovery itself. Perelman's actions strongly suggest a man of profound personal integrity. He appeared to believe that the work, the mathematics, should stand entirely on its own merit, untainted by personal ambition or the often distracting circus of modern celebrity culture. He valued his privacy and autonomy with an intensity few could match. What does Grigori Perelman's unique life story and his stark choices tell us about our common notions of success and purpose? Contemporary society very often defines success primarily through external markers, the accumulation of wealth, the reception of prestigious awards, and widespread public recognition. Perelman's life, however, offers a radical and thought-provoking alternative to these conventional metrics. His driving purpose was clearly the relentless pursuit of mathematical truth and deep understanding. Once he had achieved his intellectual goal, the common byproducts of such a pursuit, fame, fortune, and public acclaim, appeared to hold little to no intrinsic value for him. His example directly questions the very nature of ego and ambition. It powerfully suggests that true, lasting fulfillment might actually lie in aligning one's actions with deeply held personal principles, irrespective of external judgment or societal expectations. His extraordinary story compels us to look inward. It forces us to confront our own deeply held values and priorities. What is truly important in the grand scheme of our lives? Is it primarily the applause generated by the crowd, the material comfort afforded by riches, or the status conferred by public honors? Or could it perhaps be something less tangible, something more profoundly personal and internal? Grigori Perelman decisively made his choice. He chose his own distinct form of peace, his own unique definition of what constitutes a life well lived, far from the madding crowd. Is the quiet, undisturbed sanctuary of one's own mind, meticulously protected from the world's incessant demands and judgments, ultimately worth more than $1 million or the allure of global fame? He certainly seemed to think so, and his life stands as a testament to that conviction.